So how can we multi-select layers, edit them, rename them, and move them all at the same time? Figma recently published a new update that allows you to multi-select items, but it doesn't always work the same way that you expect. As you can see, if I go ahead and try to scroll on one of the frames here, we have a status and we have a button. If I try to select that, you see Figma has the option for you to select all the matching layers. If I go ahead and select that, Figma just tells me that there is no matching layers selected, even though you can see clearly that we have multiple matching layers selected on our table. So this behavior usually occurs if I collapse all my layers, and if I try to duplicate this multiple times, and if I go ahead and again select the button, now if I go and select all the matching layers, as you can see, Figma selects all the matching layers that it finds on the other tables that I duplicated, which is nice. But for example, if I decide to select the icon, let's just go ahead and select the icon, and if I go and select the matching layers, it exactly behaves the same way, which selects basically all the 4 matching layers on the 4 tables. What if you do want to select all the icons on all the tables and you decide to move some columns around? So you can use a plugin called Automator. So make sure you install Automator and run it, because if you don't, you won't be able to see this option, Automator select next sibling. This is the plugin that we're going to use to select multiple layers all at once. So let me click outside my canvas and collapse all my layers. Here you see we have 4 tables. So the first thing first, I'm just gonna hold Command and A to select all my table. After I selected all my tables, I'm gonna press return on my keyboard to select all the nested elements, and then I'm gonna select return on my keyboard one more time. And if I try to zoom in, here you see I am actually selecting the rows and a divider. We have a divider in our tables, and that is causing an issue. How can I deselect the divider without actually going and unselecting one at a time? You see we have a lot of layers that has a divider. If you get into this situation, you can use the select next sibling that I showed earlier. So here I'm going to use Command and / to bring the quick action and then go with select next sibling. And if I do that, I'm now selecting all the rows in all the tables, as you can see on the left hand side. And by doing that, I'm now able to press return on my keyboard and now go one step further in our layer selection. Since we ran the plugin, we can again use a shortcut. I think it's Command Option and P. Here, by using that plugin, we're now able to run this one more time. Here you can basically search for run last plugin, and this is the shortcut. On the Windows side, the shortcut is a bit different, which I think it might be Control Alt and P. So in this example, once I have my plugin ran for the first time, I can use this shortcut to navigate all the way by clicking it multiple times, as you can see on the left hand side. And now I'm able to select all the icons on all the tables here. And then since this is an auto layout, what I can do is I can use the arrow to move my icons. Not only this is being moved on one table, it is actually being moved on all my tables in this example. So here you can see I managed to push my icon all the way on all the tables from the right hand side all the way to the left hand side. Also, this multi-select also works with the multi-edit, which means if you try to multi-select your text layers, you have the ability to multi-edit them all at the same time. But what you notice is if you have multiple options and an auto layout, if you try to select them, you see you have to select a lot of times to go nested in your auto layout. Yes, you can use Command and hold it, and by doing that you can go nested and select your text layers within the nested auto layout. But as you can see, you are selecting the divider by mistake, because if I try to zoom in, here we have a tiny divider in each layer. Again, let me just select the divider here. This divider, if I try to make it, let me detach that, and if I try to make it a bit darker, which is this divider, here you see it actually is an object in our table. So if we try to select our text layers, we are accidentally selecting this divider. So let me Command Z that, so we are basically back to our divider with a gray 98 color. You can use another option that Figma offers to you, and this is not a plugin, it's a built-in option. So what I can do is basically scroll and click on one of my text layers. In this example, I have renamed them properly, which is H5. And what I can do is go to my find option and then search for basically hashtag H5. And by doing that, I'm able to select H5 on all my tables. Here you see I can even use this arrow to navigate between all the H5s that are available in all tables. You can also filter. You can click on this one and go one step further and select all the text layers if you have also other layers renamed H5. So in this example, I only have text layers, so I'm going to go and select all the text layers in this page that are renamed H5, and then I'm going to hold Command and A, and as you can see, it didn't work, so you have to click one time inside the find panel and then Command and A to select all of them. So here you can see I have selected all of them, and the good thing is Figma has this new feature which is called multi-edit. If I click multi-edit, and now if I go and change this to Baruji, ink in this example, and dot, and then click outside, here you see this is changed all the way in all my tables. So you can use the find option to select multiple times and use the multi-edit to edit everything in bulk. And lastly, let me Command Z that and basically select all the 40 text layers. If you're not familiar with bulk renaming, Figma has an option. So if you have all your layers selected, you can use Command and R to rename them in bulk. Not only that, you have the ability to match and rename, which means if I decide to rename this from H to C, I can click here and go with cap H, and then also go with cap C. And then once I'm happy, I would be able to rename this, and then all my layers would get the name C5. And already we are familiar with running the last plugin. So here, if I go ahead and select next sibling, I'm navigated to the next one. So Command and R, match the letter H, replace it with C. Run the last plugin, Command and R, match letter H, replace it with C, and then run the last plugin again, Command and R, match letter H, replace it with C. And finally, next siblings multiple times, match the letter H and then replace it with C and then rename. And by doing that, I renamed all my layers in all my tables in a bulk in a couple of seconds.